The stock of the day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. Trade over 17,000 markets with extended trading hours on key US shares and competitive spreads, all on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.
Stock of the day is when we look at a stock that's in the news. Bit light on news today, but thought we'd have a look at Ingham's. The big chook company hasn't come up for a while on the news that CEO and Managing Director Andrew Reeves will step down from his role mid-next year. The Ingham's board has endorsed the company's current New Zealand Chief Executive, Edward Alexander, to be his replacement. Whenever there's a change at the top, it's interesting to have a look at. Josh, how's Ingham's travelling in your view at the moment, and will a change at the top make any difference at all?
It's been very volatile, to say the least, that stock over the last 3 years, which is how long the CEO's been in there, mainly due to external reasons with the cost controls and then passing that on, and they hit a point where they could control that, and then the costs came down and they improved their margins, and then it sort of flipped back again. So it's been very volatile. For pretty much every report has been sort of up or down 10 to 15%, as you can sort of see there from the 5-year chart. But I don't think it adds a little bit more uncertainty to, I guess, a company that's got a lot of unknowns and a lot of difficult inputs and outputs to predict. But it's not exactly like a founder-led business or anything like that. The CEO's been in there since 2021.
And the family's been out for a while, hasn't it, in terms of management control.
Yeah, so new CEO coming in, obviously it's someone very close to the business in the New Zealand arm, so it shouldn't make too much of a difference to the inflows. It sort of really comes down to those things that you can't control, things like bird flu, things like cost inputs, charging that on to the client, demand, for that sort of stuff. So it's just a really difficult to predict business, so it's not one
they
that
are
we're
massive
into.
though, aren't they, in terms of grain and chook, it's all the chicken that goes into KFC and Coles. They just dominate the market, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. So
do you like it as a stock?
No, not particularly. There's sort of a lot of new entrants coming into the market as well. So sort of KFC's dwindling down a little bit here in Australia. You've got things like Guzman y Gomez popping up all over the place. So we're sort of more in favour of those sort of names that are growing and picking up market share. Which Ingham's has got a really good foothold on a big industry, but it's not a huge growth industry anyway.
Okay, Mathan, it's an ag stock. Is it basically? Is it a good one?
You
like your ag stocks?
Yeah, I like food.
And food.
I like food. Look, the ag sector, the food sector is doing really well. The boring guys have been the cycle. I mean, historically, everyone talks about the brand names. Yeah. They're the marketing guys. They don't actually make anything. They just put it together, packaging, and they make a killing on the margin. But in this cycle, it's been the guys who actually produce the food. So boring stocks like Fonterra. It's doubled. I mean, if you think about things like Sunrise, it's had a huge run and they're doing new things. Yeah. So the guys who actually make the product are actually benefiting from this cycle, and that's good because everyone needs the cycle. Ingham is a bit different in the context that the family got out, private equity got in, they took the assets out, geared it up. It's a good business, but the problem is they've got saturation in the market. Unless you're doing something different, where's the growth going to come from? And that's the problem. It's a good defensive business. I think the management change is not going to really rock the boat. I think he's right. It'll probably be in the range trading level. It's not one we are excited about, but I think it should be okay in the current, look, you're getting a decent yield, but this is one where things are okay till something goes wrong. Yeah. But you don't get the growth play. So I don't see the upside because in any food agri stock, there is a risk. Yeah. And if you don't know the risk, well, then you're not looking hard enough. There is always a risk in this sector. Now, you want the growth to get that to compensate. Yeah. I don't think you're getting much of a growth here. So you're basically going to sit there, collect your dividends till it gets into trouble. And I don't really want to do that, so not for me.
Okay, all right, not for you. Your preference still
Look, at the moment, you want to play that thematic, you go to Elders. It's
yeah.
just the biggest gorilla there.
Yep.
And I think the regional economy is doing quite well. Food thematic is good. Trade war benefits you. So Elders is a nice way to play.
Okay. All right. That's our stock of the day. Ingham's.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Trade over 12,000 shares and ETFs, including major tech giants with extended hours on an award-winning platform. Get started at ig.com.